So I think we breezed over Cow Bommy. That was pretty significant in like, I guess women's surfing in general, because you were the first chick that ever surfed that, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, like all this media came about after it, but that was like never my intention to like go be the first ever and I ended up breaking like Lane's record. Lane Beachley held the record up until that point of like the biggest wave ever surfed by Australian female. And people started, after that session, there was video and photos and people started talking about it like, shit, is this like maybe the biggest wave ever by an Aussie female? And
what was the wave that Lane surfed?
I think it might have even, because when she was dating Ken Bradshaw, that's who it was, she surfed a lot of bigger waves around Hawaii, like Himalayas and Avalanche.
Like the outer reef.
Yeah, those waves. Ones. And she towed those waves. And I think there was a photo somewhere, and I don't know, it was on the cover of a mag maybe. But then I also, maybe she went somewhere in Mexico too. Shit, I don't know.
Mexico gets big waves.
Yeah. I don't know where that was.
But it wasn't Cow Bommy and you beat the record.
Exactly.
So I guess I guess we sort of strayed off when you were saying that you had 6 hours to think about it. That'd suck. So did you have the confidence that you could actually do this, or was it something where you were like, yeah, I'll do that, and then it happens and you're like, then you start having to kind of do it?
I've always got this thing inside me that just kind of makes me go, I think. And like sometimes like I have a tendency to zone out of certain situations or just to switch off, and like some people just find it really hard to do that. And I think sometimes that's the thing that gives me an advantage when it goes coming to big waves or like making decisions like that, because I'm like,
just go.
I'll just do it. Yeah. I mean, obviously
there's skills to back it up.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're not scared, there's definitely something wrong with you.
Yeah.
That's when you know, all right, maybe I'm a bit
I shouldn't
tweaked,
do this, yeah.
you know. But yeah, I mean, there was moments where I was just like, holy shit, what am I getting myself into? And I mean, I'd never even seen like a tow board. I'd seen them before, but I'd never held one before, and I hadn't got my own tow board. So I borrowed someone's tow board from the Goldie, Billy Watson, and JJ, my boyfriend. He was like, yeah, I'll go get you. I'll organise you a tow board. We went around there to pick it up, and I picked the thing up and I was like, fuck, this thing isn't going to float. Like, it was so heavy. And packed it in the board bag, went over. And then like once you arrive in Perth, you got a 3-hour drive down south. And then that night, the guy who I was with, Paul Patterson, who's like renowned big wave surfer, like so experienced, and he was like, yeah, I'll take you out, like I'll look after you, set everything up. And he's like setting up his tow board, and he's like a maniac. Like he had been injured for like, I can't remember if it was 5 weeks or 5 months, but either way, that's a long time to be injured and not been surfing at all. It was first surf back was like 20-foot Cow Bommy. I was like,
some dudes just have that gear, eh?
Yeah, he's the one that isn't scared, you know? He's one of those. And anyway, he was like up pacing all night. So I was like, he's like, yeah, I can hear it's like big. It's got to be big. Like, it feels good.
And you're like, I don't need this, man.
Don't tell me that. And we get up, and because the wave breaks so far out, you have no idea what it's like going to be like. You can there's one section that you can kind of just see it like breaking, like a lookout point when you drive around the corner into Gracetown, where you launch the ski. But I had no idea what to expect. Yeah. And so we launched the ski, and we start getting out there, and then it's like maybe 15 minutes on the ski. It's like 2.5 Ks out to sea. And start getting closer and closer. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, that's it there. And pull up, and the biggest set comes through, and it's so loud. Like, it sounds like, I don't know, a bomb's going off, sounds like.
Yeah.
It's fucking loud. And a few of the boys are like already out there, and they're all towing at this point because it was super windy, like real windy in the morning.
People paddle Cow Bommy?
Oh yeah, people paddle. Yeah, but
it obviously gets too big at points to do it.
Yeah. So the swell was like increasing the day. Oh no, was it? Yeah, it was increasing the day we were there, and everyone was pretty much towing until the afternoon when it glassed off a bit. And a few people, the guy who I was with, Paul Patterson, first surf back, jumps on, paddles out at Cow Bommy on his like 12-0. And he's like, yeah, first surf in 5 weeks or something. And I was like, you are a maniac. But people mainly tow it. Yeah, I mean, because it breaks so far out, there's so much water moving that it's so hard to match the speed of that wave. Guys are running like 12-0s out there, which is pretty big these days now in that big wave world. like guys at Jaws when I was there the last couple of years for the contest. You know, guys like Kai Lenny are riding like 9.8s.
Yeah,
and
Albie Leia rides real short boards too.
And like epoxies and like little swallowtails at the end. Like it's, but that wave, like I mean, the last couple of years, the first year was pretty windy at Jaws. This last year just gone was like amazing conditions. Like you just don't get that kind of no wind out there. Like Maui's like renowned for wind, and yeah, I mean the guys are just riding smaller and smaller boards and fully doing turns and
like
stuff.
Taking off under the lip basically.
I know. It's crazy. I think one day there will be like, there won't even be like a big wave world tour and a world tour.
They'll just start going
there has
to all
to
of
be.
them.
Like how can you say you're the world's best surfer at surfing waves under like 10 foot, you know, like, or
unless you're John.
Yeah, exactly. And
he's like the first dude that is like the world champion.
He's like bridging the gap between that, you know, like what the Eddie, what is it?
Yeah,
like
he won the Eddie. Yeah. He won. Well, did he win pipe this year?
Oh, no, he hasn't won pipe.
No, that's right. Well, he's won the has he won like the
Triple
Vulcan
Crown
Pro or something there? Like, or he's won nothing.
I should know
there.
this.
Yeah, I should as well.
But he's world champ. He won the Eddie.
He ripped the pipe
Jaws.
anyway.
He was out at Jaws like on that other swell. Like it's just he's bridging the gap, and I just feel like
because the dude like Felipe Toledo ain't gonna paddle out at Jaws.
Well,
you know.
I mean, we don't know, but I think he went out at Waimea like the other day. I saw something maybe, but
yeah, that's interesting you say that you think that there will be a point where there's no like you'll just go to those spots as a part of the tour.
Yeah, I mean, like you look at guys like Kyle Lenning is like starting to do calves on the faces out there, and like it's just, I think there has to be a point where that happens because I even look at, I don't know, I've always thought this, but like it's like how can you say you're the best if you're not doing all of it?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just my opinion, but
maybe they could have like a Triple Crown within so you got 3 events of the World Big Wave and then 3 events of the World Tour, and then if you end up winning a combined points total of that, then there's another thing that you win.
Yeah,
because that could be pretty cool. Because like some dudes, man, like I don't know if Medina's gonna go out there. I don't know if like Toledo would go out I mean they might, but
I spoke to Mick after and he's like, mate, you're crazy. You're crazy. No, I'd never go. And I'm like, yeah, you would. You're just saying that, but you would.
If you had to.
Yeah, I know.
Because that Code Red Tahiti swell, like you saw a couple dudes come out like Owen. Just like charging it. Josh Kerr, he's not scared of big waves. So there is a couple dudes on there.
No, there definitely is.
So it'd be cool to give them that option.
I know,
and then like in those 3 events, say it's on like the World Tour, you give like Kai Lenny, they just get a spot in the World Tour for those 3 events.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like get a crossover. That'd be sick.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
All right, we're just making moves here on this podcast. A bit of Red Bull, a bit of a yard. Yeah, we're going. We're going to sign this off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, back to Cow Bomber. We keep getting distracted, which is fine.
Yeah.
How deep is that where it breaks? Like, does it break onto does it go from super deep water to reef, or is it like, I'm thinking consequence wise when you come off, like what are you sort of dealing with?
Well, I mean, you're dealing with
just a lot of water.
Yeah,
obviously.
a lot of water and a lot of power. I haven't heard of anyone hitting the bottom. I don't really want to say I haven't. Well, I haven't, but touch wood, wherever that is.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, I don't want to be touching the bottom there.
Yeah, so it still breaks in like crazy deep water.
It's pretty deep. Yeah, it's really deep. But and like something about that I don't really like either, you know, like how far down are you really going? Especially that day too, like I was the only person out there without an inflatable suit because I didn't have one.
Come on, JJ.
No, I know.
Your management
so I didn't have one, and all the other boys did, and they obviously I was wearing like a PFD, like a thin PFD.
Yeah.
But I didn't have that's it, mate. And I was like, I got like 5 waves, and at the pretty much except for 2 of them I rode out, the other 3 caught up to me, and I got just like jumped off and put my feet out the straps. But far out, like I'd hate to think how deep I was going and like going.
How long do you think you were under for?
I don't know. I mean, it always seems longer when you're under there. Like it always does. But like when you got a heightened heart rate, everything's a lot harder, you know. And I mean, before I even caught my first wave, I got 3 of the biggest waves of like sets on the head of the day, and this like should never have happened. This was so stupid. But
so what happened?
Like I was out there, and because that big set had just rolled through, it was the first time I'd had to look at the Cow Bommy, And after that was a massive lull. So no waves. And because you're so
they
far...
get big lulls out there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You don't know like quite where the lineup is. Like you can kind of tell where littler swells, 10, 20 foot swells are like coming through. Like, yeah, okay, this kind of looks like it.
Yeah, it's not a gauge where the big dogs are going to break.
Nah. And anyway, so because I hadn't really towed with straps before properly, like I towed with just a regular board. The ski driver was like, okay, like you got to get the feel of like getting behind the jet ski with the straps. All right, let's do it. And we're kind of like facing in towards the shore. And I was just fucking around and I couldn't get my feet in the straps. And I was just like, crap, Anyway, and try to get up on this one and turn around. He's like, oh shit. Like, he's like, hold on. And I like, cause I had never done it before. Like he tried to like pull me up out of the water and I cooped it. And then he's like, I'm going to have to leave you. And I turn around and it was like the biggest set of the morning. I was just like, fuck, all right, here we go. Yeah. And I was like, and that's one of those moments when I was talking about before, like maybe if I was like one of those people that think about everything, like, oh, like, I can't turn off my brain, that I would have freaked out then. But I was just like,
oh, well, this is me now.
Like, yeah. All right. I don't know what it is, but it's just something like, I don't know, some weird bit of courage or like courageousness.
That's why you're a professional surfer and I'm not.
Something weird, I don't know what it is. Something super weird.
And so then you got pumped by that set.
Yeah. And then like the next one and the one after. But by the time the first one had gone through, I was pretty far like washed in. But after that, I was like, well, shit, that's the worst that can happen, Like, so I may as well just give it a crack now. And I think it was like one of the best things that could have happened because...
It just took the edge off.
Oh, totally took the edge off. And I was just like, well, let's do it.
That is wild to me to just do that. And so then when you like, what's the experience of the ones that you actually did get?
To be honest, it's weird because when you're towing in, you can't see like how big the wave is, like because you're coming in from behind and you're towing in behind the jet ski. And they're like, yeah, this is the one. Like, it looks like a sick one. I'm like, stop saying it looks like a bomb or a sick one. Like, I just want like,
tow me in, mate.
Just like,
just let me
ease
go.
me in. Anyway, you're like going. You kind of like they're trying to tell me like when to let go of the rope and stuff, and you start S-ing down the face and like, don't cut back too much, because you don't want.
Then you'll get caught behind it and just get completely pumped.
Yeah, just like you really want to bend your legs because you just want like basically like survival stance.
Yeah.
And anyway, but yeah, it's pretty weird because you're like S-ing down the face of a wave. You don't really know how big it is. And then I remember on my first one, I was like, okay, shit, it started to break because you can obviously hear it so loud. And I just like looked back and I was...
How big did that thing look when you were on it?
When I was like going down the face, like approaching it from behind, not that big. And then as I started to go down the face, I was like, it's taking a while to get down the face here. I was like, this is definitely one of the bigger waves that I've ever had. Like I've paddled waves before down in Margaret River that have been big, but
yeah, it's a different deal though. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have so much respect for the guys that do it and that dedicate their whole life to it. Like far out. They're so experienced and...
Well, that's where that whole term comes in, like waterman, because you can't just be a surfer at that point.
No, you just so experienced at so many different things, and so many things can go wrong, and so many different situations, and there's boats and jet skis and V1 suits and like the oxygen suits, and you got to replace canisters and like safety and rescues and navigating the lineup and boats and oh my god, it's just so much. And then you like look at people like Kyle Laney, and he's like one of my favorite surfers. I think he's amazing. Like he's amazing. The way he like, I did a GoPro trip last year in June and we were in the Mentawais and he was on it, and he like became one of my favorite surfers. Then the way he like transitions between like SUP and kite surfing and foiling and just
even like the distance paddling that he does. Like he's a full on athlete.
Yeah, he's like amazing. The way he just does it so fluidly between each of them is just incredible. Like he's like one hands down. Him and John and Kelly and a couple others are like my favorite surfers.